Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm gonna go over some top tips today on the Pain Elemental. I'm a big fan of no bull, so let's just get into it. Number 5. Shield Burst Timing. Unless you've already done the tutorial, you might not know that when you deploy your shield, you can actually fire it at the enemy. You do this by pressing the same button that you used to deploy it. On PS4, it's L1. Once deployed, the shield only lasts for roughly 5 seconds. Getting this timing down is pretty crucial because if you want to use the shield defensively and wait for the enemy to shoot first before launching your shield burst back at them, you need to make sure you get the feel for when that 5 seconds is actually coming to an end. Keep in mind, if you're using your standard single shot while your shield is up, you will need to stop firing for a good second before you can launch your shield burst at the enemy. I've had so many times when I had my shield up and was using my normal shot the whole time, and then the delay between switching from normal firing to pressing that shield button again to burst at them caused me to miss out on using it. This caused my shield to expire, and I wasn't able to launch the burst at the enemy because of that timing. So here's an example of the 5 seconds. And here's an example of single firing and then trying to use the shield, but the delay causes it not to work. Here's an example of when I waited a little too long on the shield and I wasn't able to get the shot off. So as I see the enemy, I pop the shield, I use it defensively for a second, but because I don't have a clear shot, I didn't press fire. Had I pressed it at the very last second, I maybe could have gotten a shot off on him just like that. It is tricky to balance as firing too soon immediately puts your shield down. So you'll see in this clip I pop the shield and the moment that I fire, it's gone and I get hit by the rocket. There's absolutely no delay that's in your favor, so the moment you shoot the shield, it's absolutely gone. Number 4. At range versus close quarters combat. With this demon, I actually recommend that ranged combat is your primary option. Your two biggest threats in terms of the Doomslayer's weapons are the ballista, which is the crossbow looking weapon, and the chain gun, the little minigun one. The ballista actually takes some time in between shots, so if you time your shield to absorb the first one, then you'll be in a good position to either fire back or dash away as needed. The chain gun, on the other hand, is a little bit trickier, especially if they get used to your shield timing, so you just have to make sure that you're using it at the right time and try to keep your distance. The other weapon to keep in mind is the rocket launcher, because while it is easy to dodge, the explosion is huge, so it could hit the wall behind you or it could hit your teammate and it will still affect you, so keep that in mind. And as I've shown earlier too, it may look like the rocket is going either above you or below you. You still have this kind of radius that it manages to hit on, so best bet is to try and just dodge it anyways. Number 3. The Fast Meatball Perk. This perk allows your dash to recharge 50% quicker than normal. This gives you a huge advantage. If used correctly with the shield, you should be able to make it extremely hard for them to land a single shot, especially if they are using weapons like the ballista that take longer in between shots. If you get into a rhythm against the Slayer, you can put together a sort of combo that can keep you out of harm's way for quite a while. You can pop the shield, dash again, and by the time you dash that second time, your shield should already be back, so you can repeat this combo and stay out of harm's way. Number 2. Height advantage. I've seen way too many people playing as the Pain Elemental and rushing in as close as they can. It's really not that good of an idea, especially if the Slayer knows what they're doing. Getting in close like that also opens you up to being susceptible to grenade damage, and you don't want none of that, trust me. There are plenty of different structures on most of the maps that you can utilize and move around, so you might as well make use of that, especially being up high. Where things can get a little tricky though is that to descend and go lower is actually L2 on the PS4, so to try and go lower to get underneath an obstacle and then trying to press X to ascend after you're past it, it can get a little bit tricky as the buttons aren't really in a position for that. And lastly, being up high actually kind of limits the amount of weapons that they can use on you to pretty much just the crossbow, ballista, and the chain gun, as those are the easiest to land from long range. And that makes it that the only other weapon they can really use is the hook on the shotgun. They can kind of hook onto you and swing up close to you and try to land a shot. But then again, if you preemptively apply your shield the moment that they hook onto you, they're not going to be able to land that shot anyways. And finally, tip number 1, linger combo. So the linger combo that I've come up with actually requires you to go under the loadouts and select the pressure loadout. This loadout gives you the option of using the noxious hazard green box that you can place around the map on the Slayer. The second perk you'll need is the Lingering Souls perk, which you'll have to wait until the end of one of your rounds in order to apply it. What this perk actually does is after you use this shield burst where you launch your souls at the player, the impact of those souls will leave behind another noxious gas that's in the color blue. So by using these two perks together, the green box noxious gas that you can place around the map, and then the lingering souls that you can shoot at the player and leave sitting there, you can attempt to block off both paths of the Slayer by shooting one in front and behind where he is able to go. If the Slayer is in a more enclosed area, you can use this to actually box him in and force him to take damage. If you coordinate this with your teammate, you could actually have 2 green boxes on the map and it's nearly impossible for him to go anywhere without taking any damage. So here's a prime example of where I used the Lingering Souls perk by shooting the blue gas down on the shield burst and then placing the green hazard box. Look at that. There's so much ground that covers and he can't go anywhere without taking damage. And here's an example of if I had placed the green box right there on the left hand side, I would have had him trapped in between. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope this has helped in one way or another. If you have another combo that you can think of, leave it in the comments below and we can help each other out. I will be making other videos that will be covering the other demons like the Archvile or the Mancubus, for example, so stay tuned.